it is important to give a general approach to my work, because I think it's changed with the time a lot. I come from figurative works, so that was also, I mean, I had the feeling I want to paint figures like portraits in the beginning, because on the one hand I wanted to learn how the techniques of painting, and on the other hand it was some kind of a topic in which I can combine my interest in sociology and also in painting. So that was quite interesting for me. And that was my beginning. But from time to time I changed my styles. I get bored in a way by this approach, and I wanted to make something more more freely approach, and I choose surrealistic paintings in the time between. And from surrealistic I came to this kind of abstraction, but I think there is still a kind of atmosphere of figuration in it. And this is also important because it combines the whole story. Actually, I'm from the countryside in Austria, and my first experience with art was more like street art, because me and my friends, we went to Munich and Zurich, the nearest cities. And we saw some street art and thought that would be great, and that was something we hadn't have in Austria, in Western Austria, in the part where I grew up. And then we made a lot of sketches, like tags, and we imagined to go out at night and put it on the school wall or on trains, but we never did that. We were too afraid, not brave enough. So at some point I started to make the sketches on canvases, and that was in my late school years, before I finished school, and yeah, that was actually the start of my art. I always was interested in how someone can define his own identity, what happens with people in groups, with group pressure, what shapes us, how does that change when the surrounding, the context is changing. I think painting is it's very near to a human kind of expression. I mean, it's very old there, if you think of the cave paintings. So this is very human, and I think it's very interesting to combine such a loaded medium with digital elements to make it contemporary. As I mentioned before, the paintings, they combine my whole artistic approach over the years, and I consider them as a kind of a portrait. So that also explains the canvas size. So this is a classic portrait size in a way, and I use a lot of different color layers. So for example, here you have like the 6 colors, and you can see here you have a gradient with oil. These parts are acrylic. So, and you have the traces of paint everywhere. So to give the painting a kind of a human touch, not only this geometric clarity. Next to the bigger paintings, I do a lot of small works. For me, it's easier to develop new ideas on a small scale, because you don't have that much pressure, and so if it doesn't work, so it's not the same pressure as if you have a 2-meter canvas. So most of the parts. So there are finished artworks, but on the other hand, there are some kind of sketches as well. So, and every time I start a new series of painting, I start with small works, and at some point I stop, and then I plan the exhibition.